curiouser. I can't seem to think what this place could be. I fell and fell till I thought I was somewhere near the centre of the earth. Let me think. That must be about 4,000 miles down, I think. Yes, that's about the right distance. But then I wonder which latitude and longitude I've gotten to. How funny it would seem if I'd reached the antipodes, where people walk with their heads downwards.
Oh dear, I shall be too late!
Oh, there's the rabbit I followed down the rabbit hole. I've never seen a rabbit before, with either a waistcoat pocket or a watch to take out of it. I'll just go and ask him. Please, sir, could you tell me?
Oh dear, how late it is getting!
Oh, he's gone. I shall have to ask the next person I meet the name of this country. Please, ma'am, is this New Zealand or Australia? Oh, what an ignorant girl she'll think me for asking. No, it'll never do to ask. Perhaps I shall see it written up somewhere.
Oh, my ears and whiskers! How late it is getting!
Oh, please, sir, could you tell me?
Oh, the Duchess! The Duchess! Oh, won't she be savage if I have kept her waiting? She will have me executed as sure as ferrets are ferrets!
Oh, just wait a minute. Oh, he's gone again. How queer everything is today. Yesterday things went on the same as usual. I wonder if I've been changed in the night. Let me think. Was I the same when I got up this morning? I almost think I remember feeling a little different. But if I'm not the same, the question is, who in the world am I? That's the great puzzle. Now, which of the children I know can I have been changed into? I'm sure I can't be Mabel, for I know all sorts of things, and she knows so very little. Besides, she's she and I'm I. Oh dear, how puzzling it all is. I'll try if I know all the things I used to know. Let me think. 4 times 5 is 12, and 4 times 6 is 13. Oh dear, I shall never get up to 20 at that rate. However, the multiplication table doesn't signify. Let's try geography. London is the capital of Paris, and Paris is the capital of Rome, and Rome is... Oh no, that's all wrong, I'm certain, and I must have been changed into Mabel. Oh, I'll try and say, how doth the little? How doth the little crocodile improve his shining tail, and pour the waters of the Nile on every golden scale? How cheerfully he seems to grin, and neatly spreads his claws, and welcomes little fishes in with gently smiling jaws. Oh, those were all the wrong words, and I must have been changed into Mabel after all, and I shall have, oh, so many lessons to learn, and I'm so very tired of being all alone down here. Curiouser and curiouser still. This wasn't there last time I looked. Oh, still, it's a comfort to know where I am at any rate. Would it be any use to speak to this mouse? Everything is so out of the way down here that I should think very likely it could speak. At any rate, there is no harm in trying. I wonder what is the right way to address a mouse. I once read in my brother's Latin grammar, a mouse to a mouse, of a mouse, O mouse. I expect O mouse would be right. O mouse, could you tell me what sort of place this is? Oh, perhaps you don't understand English. Oh, I dare say you're a French mouse and came over with William the Conqueror. I know a little French. Let me see. What is the first sentence in my lesson book? Où est ma chatte? Oh, I beg your pardon. I quite forgot you pardon? Oh, we won't talk about her if you'd rather not.
We indeed! As if I would talk on such a subject! Our family always hated cats. Nasty, low, vulgar things. Don't let me hear the name again.
I won't indeed. Are you fond of dogs? There's a nice little dog near my house. A bright-eyed terrier, you know, with such long brown curly hair. It belongs to a farmer, and he says it's so useful. It's worth about £100. He says it kills rats and mice. Oh dear, I'm afraid I've offended it again. Oh, Mouse dear, do come back, and we won't talk about cats or dogs either if you don't like them.
Come and sit down then, and I'll tell you my history, and then you'll understand why it is I hate cats and dogs.
Who are all these?
Oh, these are just a few creatures who have come in here to get dry.
But it isn't raining.
It was once. Someone has been crying, and all of these poor little creatures have gotten wet.
The first question is how to get dry again.
Oh, please, who is this?
Alice, Dodo, and
Someone is responsible for this state of affairs.
Well, wouldn't you cry if you fell down a rabbit hole and couldn't remember how to...
No, I should not. I haven't cried for several thousand years.
oh, he's extinct, you know.
I am no more extinct than she is.
I am not at all extinct.
You must be extinct. That's how it is you're here.
I don't see why you should say that.
There's no need for you to see what I say. It's not as if it were written down.
Well, I'm not extinct, whatever anyone else is.
Oh, don't contradict your elders.
Please, how old are you?
That I refuse to tell you.
Well, if you won't tell me how old you are, how am I to know you are my elder?
I am older, and you must know better.
But he is extinct, really.
I am not extinct, but I am remarkably wet.
Oh, right, yes you are. Sit down, all of you. I will soon make you dry enough. Well, are you all ready?
Yes,
This
yes,
is the driest thing I know.
And this was around here.
Silence all round, if you please! William the Conqueror, whose cause was favoured by the Pope, was soon submitted to by the English, who wanted leaders, and had been late much accustomed to usurpation and conquest. I beg your pardon. Did you speak?
Not I.
Oh, I thought you did. Edwin and Morcar, the Earls of Northumbria, and even Stigand, the patriotic archbishop, found it advisable.
Found what?
Found it. Of course you know what it means.
I know what it means well enough. When I find something, it is generally a mouse or a frog. The question is, what did the Archbishop find?
He found it advisable to go with Edgar of Ealing to offer William the crown. William's conduct was at first... Oh, Alice, how do you think they're getting on, my dear?
As wet as ever. It doesn't seem to be drying them at all.
In that case, I move that the meeting adjourn to the immediate adoption of more energetic remedies.
Speak English! I don't know half those long words. And what's more, I don't believe you do either.
What I was going to say was, the best way to get dry would be a caucus race.
What is a caucus race?
Why, the best way to explain a thing is to do it.
the judge. I'll be the jury, said cunning old fury. I will try the whole case and condemn you to death. You are not attending, Alice. What are you thinking of?
Oh, I beg your pardon. You had got into the fifth bent, I think.
I had not.
I'm not. Oh, do let me help you undo it.
I shall do nothing of the sort. You insult me by talking such nonsense.
I didn't mean it. Oh, but you're so easily offended, you know. Oh, please come back and finish your story.
Yes, come back.
Certainly not.
Oh, what a pity it wouldn't stay.
I wish my cat Dinah were here. She'd soon fetch it back.
And who is Dinah?
Oh, she's my cat, and she's such a capital one for catching mice. You can't think. But I don't like to see her after little birds. Why? If you didn't stop her, she'd eat a little bird as soon as look at it.
Really? Well, that's most unfortunate, I think. Actually, I think we all have to go now, don't we?
Yeah.
Goodbye.
Oh, please. I wish I hadn't mentioned Dinah. Nobody seems to like her down here, and I'm sure she's the best cat in the world. Oh, my dear Dinah, I wonder if I shall ever see you anymore.
Oh, the Duchess! The Duchess! Oh, my dear neck, oh, my fur and whiskers! She will have me executed as sure as ferrets are ferrets! Now, where can I have dropped them, I wonder? Why, Marianne, what are you doing here? Run home and fetch me a pair of gloves and a fan! Quick, now!
Please, sir, do you take me for a housemaid?
Of course! Now run along quickly, Marianne! Fetch me my gloves and fan this moment!
Suppose I've been changed into Mary Ann.
The Duchess is waiting for the White Rabbit.
Then I've lost my fan and gloves!
The Duchess is very angry with the White Rabbit.
Marianne! Marianne!
The Duchess intends to execute the White Rabbit.
Quick, Marianne, quick!
The Duchess has sent for the executioner.
Marianne! Marianne! You'll be the death of me if you're not quick! My second best gloves! And the fan I used in my first ball! Still... Where is that White Rabbit? Execute that White Rabbit! Take that White Rabbit's head off! Oh, my dear neck! Oh, my fur and whiskers!
For the Duchess, an invitation from the Queen to play croquet.
From the Queen, an invitation to the Duchess to play croquet. There's no use in knocking, and that for two reasons. First, you're on the same side of the door as I am. Second, they're making such a noise inside, nobody could possibly hear you.
Please, then how am I to get in?
There might be some sense in your knocking if we had a door between us. For instance, if you were inside, you might knock and I could let you out, you know.
How am I to get in?
Are you to get in at all? That's the first question, you know.
How am I to get in?
I shall sit here on and off for days and days.
But what am I to do?
Anything that you like.
Oh, that's just really dreadful. The way you creatures go on. It's enough to drive one crazy.
I shall sit here on and off for days and days.
Oh, it's no use in speaking to you. You are
far enough.
What sort of people live about here?
Well, in that direction lives the Hatter, and in that direction lives the Hare. Visit easy, you like, they're both mad.
I don't want to go amongst mad people.
Oh, you can't help that. We're all mad here. I'm mad, you're mad, the Cheshire Cat is mad.
What makes you think the Cheshire Cat is mad?
Well, to begin with, a dog's not mad. You grant that?
I suppose I do.
Well, now you see, a dog wags its tail when it's pleased and growls when it's angry. But the Cheshire Cat growls when it's pleased and wags its tail when it's angry. Therefore, it's mad.
I call it purring, not growling.
Call it what you like. Do you play croquet with the Queen today?
I should like to very much, but I haven't been invited.
Oh, you'll see me there. Oh, isn't that soup done yet?
Mind what you're doing, you'll hurt the baby. Oh, there goes its precious nose.
Speak roughly to your little boy and beat him when he sneezes. He only does it to annoy because he knows it teases. I speak severely to my boy and beat him when he sneezes, for he can thoroughly enjoy the pepper when he pleases. Here, you can nurse it for a bit if you like. I must go get ready to play croquet with the Queen.
Oh, if I don't take you away with me, they are sure to kill you in a day or two. It'd be murder to leave you behind. You seem to me rather a queer-shaped sort of baby. Now don't grunt. That's not at all the proper way of expressing yourself. It sounded like a grunt, but perhaps you are only sobbing. Now, if you're going to turn into a pig, I shall have no more to do with you. Right now, it's a dreadfully ugly baby. But it'd make rather a handsome pig. I'm trying to know plenty of children that would do very well as pig.
Oh, by the way, if it turns into a pig, don't worry, it does sometimes. Pig! Oh, don't be late for the Queen's croquet party, or she'll have you beheaded!
I think I'll go and see the March Hare now. I've seen hatters before. The March Hare will be the most interesting. And as it's June, perhaps it won't be raving mad. Or at least not as mad as it was in March. Or at least I hope so. And if it were to be raving mad after all, I should wish I had gone to see the Hatter instead. Now, remember, you are not to turn into a pig.
is the same thing with you. What day of the month is it?
The 4th.
Oh, 2 days wrong! I told you butter wouldn't suit the works.
But it was the best butter.
Yes, but some of the crumbs must have gone in as well. I told you not to put it with the bread knife.
It was the best butter, you know.
What a funny watch. It tells you the day of the month, but it doesn't tell you what o'clock it is.
Why should it? Does yours tell you what year it is?
Of course not. But that's because it stays the same year for such a long time together.
Which is the same case with mine.
I don't quite understand you.
The dumbass sick again! Pour a hot tea on his nose.
Oh, just when I was going to remark myself.
Well, have you guessed the riddle yet?
No, I give it up. What's the answer?
I haven't the slightest idea!
Nor I! I think you might have something better to do with the time than wasting it asking riddles you have no answers.
If you need time as well as I do, you want to talk about wasting it. It's him!
I don't know what you mean.
Of course you don't. I dare say you've never even spoke time.
Perhaps not, but I know I have to beat time when I learn music.
That accounts for it. I won't stand beating. If you keep on good terms with him, who do almost anything you like with the clock. Say it were 9 o'clock in the morning. Time to begin lessons. All you need to do is whisper a hint of time, and round goes the clock in a twinkling. 1:30, time for dinner.
I only wish it were.
That would be grand, certainly. But then I shouldn't be hungry for it, you know?
Not at first, perhaps, but you can keep it 1:30 for as long as you like.
Is that the way you manage?
Not I. We quarreled last March, just before he went mad, you know. It was a concert given by the Queen of Hearts, and I had to sing. Twinkle, twinkle, little bat, how I wonder where you're at. You know the song, perhaps?
I've heard something like it.
It goes on this way. Up above the world so high, like a tea tray in the sky. Twinkle, twinkle, little...
Twinkle, twinkle.
Hit him! That'll make him stop.
Oh,
Well, I'd hardly finished the first verse, looking bold at his manning the time up with his head.
How dreadfully savage.
And ever since that, hey, whatever thing I ask is always 6 o'clock now.
Is that the reason why so many tea things are put out here?
Yes, that's it. It's always tea time, and we have no time to wash things between whiles.
Then you keep moving round, I suppose.
Exactly so. As the things get used up.
But what happens when you come to the beginning again?
Suppose we change the subject. I'm getting tired of this. I've heard this young lady tell us a story.
Oh, I'm afraid I don't know one.
Then the dormouse shout! Pitching on both sides. Wake up, dormouse!
I wasn't asleep. I heard every word you fellows were saying.
Tell us a story.
Yes, please do.
And be quick about it, or you'll be asleep again before it's finished.
Once upon a time, there were 3 little sisters, and their names were Elsie, Lacey, and Tilly, and they lived in the bottom of a well.
What did they live on?
Treacle.
Oh, they couldn't have done that, you know. They'd have been ill.
So they were very ill.
Take some more tea.
I haven't had any yet, so I can't take more.
Oh, you mean you can't take less? It's very easy to take more than nothing.
Nobody asked your opinion.
Well, who's making personal remarks now?
Why did they live at the bottom of a well?
It was a treacle
Oh,
well.
there's no such thing.
If you can't be civil, you better finish the story yourself.
No, please go on. I won't interrupt you again. I dare say there may be one.
One indeed. And so these 3 little sisters, they were learning to draw, you know?
What did they draw?
Treacle.
I want to clean cut. Let's all move one place on.
But I don't understand. Where did the 3 little sisters draw the treacle from?
Oh, well, you can draw water out of a water well, so I think you can draw treacle out of a treacle well. Huh? Stupid!
But they were in the well.
Of course they were. Well in. And so these 3 little sisters, they were learning to
Oh, and I drew all manner of things, everything that begins with an M.
Why with an M?
Why not?
Hate him!
Oh, everything that begins with an M, such as mousetrap, the moon, and memory. Oh, and muchness. You know you say things are much of a muchness. Have you ever seen a drawing of a muchness?
Really? Now you ask me. I don't
Then you shouldn't talk!
You're very rude. I'll never come here again. This was the stupidest tea party I was ever at in all my life.
Look out now, Five. Don't go splashing paint all over me like that. I couldn't help it. Seven shook my elbow.
That's right, Five. Always lay the blame on others.
You better not talk. I heard the Queen say only yesterday you deserve to be beheaded.
What for? That's none of your business, too.
Yes, it is his business. And I'll tell you what. It was for bringing to cook tuna roots instead of onions.
Of all the unjust things.
Would you please tell me why you're painting those roses?
Well, you see, miss, these here ought to have been red rose trees. But we bought white rose trees by mistake. And if the Queen were to find out, we'd all have our heads cut off. So you see, miss, we're doing our best before she comes. The Queen! The Queen!
Who is this? Eat!
What is your name, child?
My name is Alice. So please, Your Majesty.
And who are these?
How should I know? It's no business of mine.
Up with her head! Up with her head!
Nonsense! Consider my dear. She is only a child.
Then turn them around!
Oh, leave off. That makes me giddy.
If it please Your Majesty, we're trying our best to paint the roses the colour Your Majesty desires.
I see.
Off with their heads! Fetch the executioner!
With pleasure, Your Majesty.
Oh, you shan't be beheaded. I'll hide you. Quick, quick.
Well, are their heads off?
Their heads are quite gone, so please, Your Majesty.
That's right. I shall want all those soldiers to act as my croquet hoops. Do you play croquet?
Yes, Your Majesty.
Well, come on then.
It's a very fine day.
Very. So you don't take me for Marianne?
No, not a bit. But that is to say contrariwise. But you've got a look of her, you know. Perhaps you have some Mariannes in your family.
I'm sure I've nothing of the sort. Where's the Duchess?
Oh, shh. She is under sentence of execution.
What for?
Did you say, what a pity?
No, I didn't. I don't think it's at all a pity. I said, what for?
She boxed the Queen's ear.
Oh, what fun.
Shh. The Queen will hear you. You see, she came rather late, and the Queen said,
Get to your places, or I'll have you executed!
They're dreadfully fond of beheading people here. The great wonder is that there is anybody left alive, and they don't play it all fairly. And they quarrel so dreadfully one can't hear oneself speak, and they don't seem to have any rules in particular.
how do you like the Queen?
Not at all. She's so extremely likely to win that it's hardly worthwhile finishing the game.
My dear, there's a cat over there with a grin. Well, at least there's a grin over there with a cat. Well, at least
Off with its head!
I will fetch the executioner myself.
Well, come on then. You're to play
Oh no.
If something isn't done about it in less than half of no time, I'll have everybody executed all round!
The Cheshire Cat belongs to the Duchess. You'd better ask her about it.
She's in prison. Fetch her here.
If you please, Your Majesty, the cat's head has disappeared.
Good. Someone must have cut it off after all. Let's get on with the game.
I should like, for my own satisfaction, to find that cat's head.
It faded quite away.
That comes of being a Cheshire Cat, I suppose. I hope the Duchess is in a better temper when she comes out of prison.
Oh, yes, well, I expect so. It was the pepper, you know. When you're a duchess, you have no pepper in your kitchen at all. Soup does quite well without it.
Is it always pepper that makes people hot-tempered?
And vinegar that makes them sour, and chamomile that makes them bitter, and barley sugar and such things that make people rather sweet-tempered.
Oh, I wish people knew that. Then they wouldn't have to be so stingy about it, you know?
Oh, Alice! Oh, you don't think how glad I am to see you, my dear.
Then it was the pepper.
You're thinking about something, and that makes you forget to speak. Oh, I can't tell you now what the moral of that is, but I shall remember it in a bit.
Perhaps it hasn't one.
Oh, tut-tut, child. Everything has a moral, if we can only find it.
The game's going on rather better now.
Oh, 'tis so. And the moral of that is, 'tis love that makes the world go round.
Somebody once said it was done by everybody minding their own business.
Ah, well, it means much the same thing. And the moral of that is, take care of the sense, and the sounds will take care of themselves. I expect you're wondering why I don't put my arm around your waist. Shall I try the experiment?
Oh, please, don't trouble.
Oh, no trouble at all. And the moral of that is, birds of a feather flock together.
Only I'm not a bird.
No, but you might have been. And the moral of that is, the more there is of mine, the less there is of yours.
I'm afraid I don't quite follow.
Oh, there's no need to follow. I'm quite willing to lead. And the moral of that is, be what you would seem to be. Or, if you would like it put more simply, never imagine yourself not to be otherwise, that what you might appear to others, that what you were or might have been was not otherwise, then what you would have been would have appeared to them to be otherwise.
I think I should understand that better if I had it written down, but I can't quite follow it as you say it.
Oh, that's nothing to what I could say if I chose.
Oh, great, don't trouble yourself to say it any longer than that.
Oh, don't talk about trouble. I'll make you a present of everything I've said yet.
Cheap sort of present, don't you think?
I'm glad they don't give out birthday presents like this. I don't think
Thinking again?
I've a right to think.
Just as much a right as pigs have to fly. And the moral of that is, a fine day, Your Majesty.
Now, I give you fair warning. Either you or your head must be off, and that in half of no time. Make your choice. No one is paying proper attention to the game. Up with all their heads. Send them all to prison. And I shall deal with them when I have a moment to spare. And as for these, send them all to bed.
Prepare for the trial.
all writing on their slates. They can't have anything to put down before the trial's begun.
They are putting down their names for fear they should forget them before the end of the trial.
Stupid things.
Silence in the court!
They're putting down stupid things on their slates. A nice muddle they'll be in before the trial's over. Oh, and oh dear, Bill the Lizard has a pencil that squeaks. I really can't stand that.
Herald, read the accusation. The Queen of Hearts, she made some tarts, all on a summer's day. The Knave of Hearts, he stole those tarts and took them quite away. Consider your verdict. Not yet, not yet. There's a great deal to come before that. Call the first witness. First witness, the Mad Hatter.
Oh, I beg of you, your majesty! Pardon for bringing these in, but I begun my tea when I was sent for.
You ought to have finished. When did you begin?
14th of March, I think it was.
15.
16.
Write that down.
The jury are writing down all through dates and have added them up, and now they're reducing them to pounds, shillings, and pence.
Take off your hat.
It isn't mine!
Stolen?
Oh, no, I keep them to sell. I'm a hatter. I have none of my own.
Give your evidence and don't be nervous or I'll have you executed when you're on the spot.
Song, twinkle, twinkle. Bring me a list of the singers from the last concert.
Oh, I beg of you, your majesty. And I have begun my tea. Not above a week or so. And oh, the bread and the butter getting so thin. And the twinkling of the tea.
The twinkling of what?
It began with the tea.
Oh, of course, twinkling begins with a T. Do you take me for a dunce? Go on.
I'm a poor man, your majesty. And worse things twinkle after that. Only the March hare
I
said.
didn't.
You did!
I deny it.
He denies it.
Well-
Leave out that part.
At any rate, Dormouse said. And then I cut some more bread and butter.
What did the Dormouse say?
That I can't remember.
You must remember or I'll have you executed.
I'm a poor man, your majesty.
You're a very poor speaker.
Ah! Suppress that dormouse!
So that's how they suppress applause in court.
Well, if that's all you know about it, you may stand down.
I can't go no lower. I'm on the floor as it is.
Then you may sit down.
Suppress that dormouse immediately and keep it suppressed!
That finishes the Dormouse. Now we shall get on better.
Here is a list of the singers. I seem to remember that someone was condemned for murdering the time.
I'd rather finish my tea.
Song, twinkle, twinkle.
You must not say to everybody, I'd rather finish my tea.
You may go.
Oh.
Call the next witness. Next witness, the cook, the Duchess's cook. Give your evidence. My notion was that you had been, before she had this fit, an obstacle that came between him and ourselves and it. That's the most important piece of evidence we've heard yet. So now let the jury...
If any one of them can explain it, I'll give him sixpence. But I don't believe there's an atom of meaning in it.
She doesn't believe there's an atom of meaning in it.
If there's no meaning in it, that saves all to trouble, you know, as we needn't try to find any, and yet I don't know. I seem to see some meaning in them after all. Said I could not swim. You can't swim, can you?
Well, do I look like it?
All right, so far. We know it to be true, that's the jury's of course. If she should push the matters on, why that must be the Queen. What would become of you? What indeed? I gave him one, they gave him two. Why that must be what he did with the tarts, you know.
Oh, but it goes on. They all return from him to you.
Why